Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge des AHK Podcasts. Thema des heutigen Podcasts sind Finanzierungsmöglichkeiten für Unternehmen in Rumänien. Unser Gast heute ist Oana Bara, Head of Financing Programs at the Banca Comerciala Romana. Und das Gespräch wird Geschäftsführer der AHK Rumänien, Sebastian Metz, führen in Englisch. Hallo, Herr Metz. Hello, Oana.
Hello, Frau Kleininger. Hello. Yeah, hi, Oana. How are you doing? Everything is okay?
Hello, Sebastian. Yes, I'm doing very well. Thank you. Very happy to be here with you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Oana, we will talk about financing possibilities here in Romania for Romanian, but also for German companies who wants to be active here in Romania today. And before we dive into this topic, first of all, one little bit more general question. You're working for BCR. It's one of the leading banks here in Romania. And I think you have a good perspective on the overall situation of companies here in Romania. And we see a lot of challenging situations, not to say problems, like rising energy prices, like the effects of the Corona crisis. Now we have a Ukraine crisis. We have supply bottlenecks, supply chain problems here. Also Romanian German companies active in Romania are highly affected by all these problems. So how would you describe from your banking perspective, actually, the general situation of companies here in Romania?
Thank you for your question. First of all, I would like to say that our clients need to trust us, that the banks are solid. And we proved this also in the beginning of the Corona crisis. And now, more than ever, we are liquid. I mean, there isn't any kind of problem and there is no need for any kind of panic regarding the banking system here in Romania. We had several talks with our clients in the last weeks. They are concerned, but we tried to explain them. We presented them our prognosis, and okay, things are going to be a little bit bumpy, but the sun will shine, and I'm sure that together we'll go through this.
Thank you very much, Oana. So the perspective is still optimistic and ready to overcome the challenges that we are facing. Let's then deep dive a little bit into the financial possibilities, the financing aspects here in Romania. Can you give us maybe an overview about the bouquet of the different possibilities that companies have? We are talking about this National Recovery and Resilience Funds. We are talking about the Modernization Fund. So there are so many different possibilities. Maybe for those who are not so familiar with these different options, maybe you can give us a good overview about what is actually available or what will be available in the near future.
Okay, the good news is that Romania is in the beginning of a really extraordinary cycle if we talk about non-refundable financing opportunities. Romania will get in the next years more than 80 billion euros as support from the European Commission. A big part of this money will come from the Recovery and Resilience Facility, PNRR, as we call it in Romania. And also there are opportunities for private companies. doesn't matter if they are SMEs or big companies. For example, on the 31st of March, a first call will be launched, and there companies can get up to 30 million euros as a grant for renewable energy. If it doesn't matter if it's wind or solar. And this will be the first financing opportunities for companies. Also, let's say maybe in June, companies will be able to access grants for energy efficiency. And here we're talking also about opportunities for SMEs and for big companies. And after that, a lot more opportunities will be for private companies here in Romania. If we talk about energy efficiency, sustainability, digital, these are the main themes of the grants. And furthermore, last week, the European Commission announced that they are going to create a new temporary framework in the context of the war in Ukraine and rising energy prices. And this temporary framework will allow member states to provide assistance and support to companies that are affected by this. So.
Thank you. I want to ask you another question. I mean, you were mentioning a lot of energy, renewable energy related funds and money which is available. That gives me a little bit the appearance that the focus is very much on this topic of sustainability, energy, renewable energies, etc. Is there any money also available for normal activities actually for companies? So when you are a company, when should a company think of European funds for what kind of projects? Because what I hear is always when you want to do something in the field of renewable energy or energy efficiency, but maybe the perspective is a little bit broader. So when should a company be interested actually in European funds?
You are completely right. The opportunities are much broader than green opportunities, let's say. If we talk about a timeline, most probably in the second half of this year will be more funding available for, let's say, building a new production facility. There will be a state aid scheme. These are Romanian money, not European money, but companies will get a grant up to 60% of the total investment they can get back from the state. Also, we are waiting for Romania to sign the partnership agreement with the European Commission that will allow the deployment of about 31 billion euros through the operational programs, and there will have financing opportunities for companies, also for technologization, for training of their staff, for almost everything. It's very hard to say that the money will be only available for this and that. What I want to say is that due to state aid rules, many of the funds are only for SMEs, but also big companies can have some opportunities.
There's always this discussion that here in Romania, I've heard about it, that most of the European funds available are destinated to public authorities and very less actually to SMEs. Is this how would you comment on this topic, and how can companies maybe benefit also from European funds which are destinated to public authorities? Because at the end, the money will end into investment, let's say like this. Yeah.
Yes, if we talk about PNRR, let's say only about 20% of all the funds are allocated for the private sector directly. The other part is for the public sector, but private companies can benefit being subcontractors for the state because, okay, we'll build highways, we'll build hospitals, schools, but companies need to build this and I can say that we can talk about direct funding opportunities and secondary funding opportunities because companies have a lot of business to do here in Romania in the next years.
Definitely. What is about the last or still existing annual financial framework? Is it still operational, let's say? Is there still money available? Because normally it should end, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020. Now we are in 22. Is this still available, these funds under this umbrella?
Yes, there are still some funds available, but very, very few. In the coming weeks, there will be launched a new call for SMEs that were affected by the coronavirus pandemic, and SMEs can apply for funding. A total of 358 million euros will be available. The maximum grant is up to 1 million euros. But just yesterday, the government announced that they will change a little bit the rules for applying. And we'll just have to wait and see in the next days exactly what the conditions will be.
Let's put us again a little bit in the perspective of a company. I'm a company and I'm curious about getting some financial funds. What questions should I ask myself, and what could be the first steps actually to endeavor actually whether funds are available for me? So what would be the first steps actually of a company who is interesting?
The first step is to have a very coherent business strategy. Afterwards, it's very important to talk to a specialist, maybe a consultant or somebody from a bank, and to ask him what are the funding opportunities that are matching the business strategy of the company. In my opinion, it's not very good to ask what kind of funding is available and not to have a straightforward strategy. For example, okay, if they have grants for building hotels, and I don't have any kind of experience, and I don't know anything about this. Even if they give me 100% of the money for free, the business has very few chances to be sustainable.
So first of all, to put it in other words, thank you very much. We need a concrete, a tangible investment, an investment plan, and then to look what kind of additional funds, additional support, financial support I can get from different financial streams, let's say like this. Is it advisable also to integrate already these funds into the investment plan, because you never can be sure about whether you get the money or not?
I think it's better to have a plan B. Yeah, it's good to have like two scenarios, one with the grant and one without the grant. Grants have two big minuses, if we just to put it this way. The first one is that sometimes there is a delay from the moment you apply for a grant until you receive it. I don't know, it can pass like a year or so. And the second minus is that not everybody gets it. So the chances can be between 5% and 90%, but you can never be totally sure that you will get the money. So plan B is very good to have.
What other recommendations do you have when you look at, for example, administrating these funds internally? So what, given the case that the company is now applying for European funds or for other financial funds available in Romania, what would you recommend for a company to be good prepared in order to absorb the funds, administrate the funds, so that everything runs smoothly and correctly?
Yes, the first thing is to have a good consultant. If we talk about a complex project, the first thing to do is to, when you sign the contract with the consultant, to be sure that you also include their project management activities, and that you have the freedom to focus only on the investment and let the consultant deal with the paperwork that this kind of grants require.
But should there be anybody in the company also attribute time resources? What about the risk? Are there also maybe some risk when you do not comply totally? What happens?
Yes, it's very important to have a person assigned for monitoring the project and all the acquisition and all the deadlines that are there to be met. And if you don't follow the rules of the financing authority, you might lose the money. And nobody wants this, but with a little bit of attention to the rules, the risks are very slim.
Yeah. Let's talk about challenges also a little bit on the broader perspective on the when you look at Romania and the financial available funds. What would be your wish, or what are the current challenges that we are having here in Romania in terms of absorption of financial funds?
The main challenge is for all the, as I was saying before, about the operational programs and the PNRR. It's important to start, because we have a little bit of delay in starting implementing these programs, but in my opinion, the authorities seem to be on the right track. And even if they start a little bit slow, I'm sure that by the second half of this year, things will look much better.
Yeah, perfect. So your recommendation is to have definitely a look on European funds, because be it as a direct beneficiary or as an indirect beneficiary, because also lots of projects are going through the public authorities, and this will create investment, and this will create contracts to to companies. It needs to be done well prepared, also with consultancy support, let's say like this. But we are facing here in Romania some delay in certain areas, but nevertheless, money will be available, and everybody should have an eye, at least on the possibilities that European funds are offering. What else would you, recommend to our audience today here on a general perspective, or on a company level, with regards to the European funds?
I definitely recommend to have a look, to be well prepared, to be sure that they have all the necessary resources for implementing the project. If we talk about human resources, technological ones, and not in the least cash flow. Yeah, because it's very important to have the money to implement this kind of project. In most of the cases, an own contribution is required. So companies need to make sure that they will have the money for that. And depending on the type of project, sometimes it's advisable to have like a bridge financing, because just to spend your own money and afterwards to wait in peace for the state to pay you back.
So then a bank comes into the game, let's say like this. Maybe to end our podcast, to jump a little bit on just shortly on another topic is sustainability. How is your bank engaged in this broad topic? How do you support as BCR the sustainability projects or the transition from a linear to circular economy? How do you support companies in this endeavor? Not looking only on the European funds, but you as a bank with a wide bouquet, with a wide service that you as a bank is offering. So this is my question actually, because I think there are lots of projects in the field of sustainability. Every company has to be occupied with this topic. And you said to us that European funds are available actually to support this path of transition, but you as a bank can offer much more, I suppose. And what would this be?
Sustainability is one of our main topics right now inside our bank. And we started already to provide some services for our clients. We have special products. For example, we have an energy efficiency credit, and we also have meetings with our clients, and we provide them training and counseling in the ESG topic. So we try to be there for our clients and just to teach them a little bit about this topic. But this is quite new also for us. We are learning together with them. But we already started to travel on the sustainability road.
Thank you very much, Oana. It was very nice talking to you. I hope that our audience liked some insights from an experienced banker or consultant in the field of European funds, public funds. I hope that the companies are supported not only by European funds but also by banks like you on the path of transition to a more sustainable digital economy that we need. And of course, I hope that our audience can overcome the challenges with all the crises that we have here right now. We as AHK are hoping that we can support you in this endeavor. We want to be the platform for exchange of experience, for information, but also for concrete support in whatever challenges that you are facing. Stay tuned, and I once again thank Oana for her insights into this topic of today. And I hand over to Ms. Kleininger for the final remarks.
Dankeschön für das Gespräch. Thank you very much, Oana. In Anlehnung dazu möchte ich noch kurz darauf hinweisen, dass wir gerade in Arbeit eine Broschüre haben, und zwar die Broschüre Finanzierungsinstrumente und EU-Fördermittel in Rumänien. Es ist eine zweisprachige Broschüre, Deutsch und Englisch, die bietet einen Überblick über die verfügbaren Finanzierungsinstrumente für verschiedene Sektoren, für alle Unternehmen. Sprechen Sie uns an. Sie können gerne hier noch Werbung schalten. Wenn die Broschüre fertig ist, können Sie sich da gerne informieren. Wir stehen Ihnen jederzeit zur Verfügung. Folgen Sie uns in den Social Media, besuchen Sie unsere Internetseite, bleiben Sie gesund. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal.
Alles Gute. Bye bye, Oana.
Bye bye.